Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to be back on. I want to thank my buddy Bill Allen and Justin and Matt and all those guys were covering for me a couple of days. Had some time off and definitely enjoyed it. We'll talk more about that later. But always great to be able to leave town and know that everything's going to be okay at home. So that was a good job, Bill. I appreciate you doing that. I'm glad you're with us today. Our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center, corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. High today is going to be back up in the 70, right at 70, and low is 60. So it's a slight warming trend. But man, it was cold. I know it was 37 in my house Wednesday morning. So I know we were talking about the importance of this warm wet water and warm weather bringing in these pompano and all. We just haven't had that big wave yet. And again, we're going to talk more about that. But let's go on with our weather. The temperature has moved up to 64 degrees in the water, so we're right on the verge of it. River readings. Take a look at the river readings. They're going down, but I've talked to some guys that fish in the river, and they just not doing real good on the river right now. It's at 11 foot this morning. It's dropping pretty fast, and by the weekend, it's going to get down around to 8.5 foot. Okay, that's the Apalachicola. This is the Choctawhatchee, and just a slow, steady decline here, reading 8.2 this morning and getting on down about 7 foot by the weekend. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, and their motto is when carrying counts. And we're looking at today's tides, March the 27th, and we're looking at a low tide at 4:35 a.m. and a high tide at 8:24 p.m. And we have just a moderate tide there, and the next couple of days will be not a lot of tidal flow. So the wind's going to be a factor. In fact, the marine forecast will be coming out of the southeast at 15 to 25 today. So the wind's going to be a big factor on this. All right, that takes care of the weather. Let's go ahead and take our break. We'll be back with our special guest. All right, welcome back, and welcome Captain Ken Paramore.
Good morning. How are you?
Glad to have you again.
Glad to be back.
All dressed up and all, but you're still working, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
You look real nice this morning. I'm going to start wearing
you.
a tie with this plaid shirt, I guess. But I know we've got the first thing, turkey hunting, and you and Stan have both been successful.
Stan and I have been successful. It's been open, 12 days now, probably about 12 days, and I know I've gone 7 of those 12.
And that's what it takes to be successful. Check out this. Tell us about it.
Well, this bird was late morning. That particular morning, I couldn't find the bird all morning. I stayed in one spot till 8 o'clock, which was about 2 hours from daylight. I didn't hear anything. I decided to move to another spot, and about 9:45, I located him. He gobbled at a crow, and so I had to take off and get set up, and he came in within 10 minutes of sitting down, and,
wow.
and he was just, it was his time, and he came in. He wasn't my biggest bird, my largest bird. He had an 8-inch beard,
yeah,
and 3/4 spurs. So he was 2.5-year-old bird probably, but nonetheless he put on a show, and he came in just like they do classic when you're trying to get one to come in close, and it was pretty awesome. So
we were talking about real quick the tail feathers. What do you think happened to the tail feathers here?
I don't know. I've heard that when they fight or they pick them, they'll pick them.
Yeah.
I checked my shot, and I'd hit him much in the upper neck and the head, so I know the shot didn't cut him off like that back there. So, but half of his tail was, maybe somebody had peppered him a few days earlier or something, But either way, we fried some turkey breast last night, so it was pretty good.
Oh, that's great. So turkey season is going full speed.
It is. It'll wear you down because you got to get going about 4 in the morning and get set up before daylight to try to locate one. So and then of course I've been trying to work after I get done, so I haven't been able to be off. So I've had to mix up those days, but I do enjoy it, and it's addicting. And my son told me the last time he went a week ago with me. I guess they associate it, our younger people associate it with being interactive. They're interactive with when they used to do gaming, their games.
Uh-huh.
And deer hunting, is, especially for young people, it's a sit and wait type of deal most of the time.
Yeah.
And unless you do some grunting or some rattling, you know, that's kind of interactive, but that's only a certain time of the year. But, you know, he was telling me, you know, he says he likes this more because it's more interactive.
That's a good point right there.
You know, it's you do the calling, he answers, you strategize where to set up, so it's interactive. I guess you could say.
I've got several pictures talking about the time you got them. I've got several pictures to show later on. Probably I'm gonna do these pictures I plan on today, but we're gonna show all these pictures tomorrow. But what my point is that they've got some of these turkeys like 12, 30, in different times of day.
And you know what? And what I've found so far is, you know, a lot of them will get with the hens early in the morning, right off the roost, and if you don't get to them first, and then there's a kind of a second wave that when they're finished with those hens, and then they crank back up again, hour, 2, 3 later, and there's been several birds killed. My bird was almost 10 o'clock. Yeah. You know, before, you know, so he and I hadn't heard him earlier, so he started up later for whatever reason. Yeah. So it does pay to stay later, I think, when you're turkey hunting as well, if you have the time.
Well, good point too, because a lot of people, you know, just have that early morning call and they get it's over with. But
right.
Guys are sending some pictures now of different.
And even if you go somewhere and set up like an ambush point, a lot of times they won't say anything, but they'll come in. And if you set up and do some infrequent calling and have a strategic place where they travel, you know, they're going to come. He'll come see even if he doesn't say anything. No. So that's another way to do it too, especially in the middle of the day.
Yeah. And now it's going to be Holmes County.
Holmes County, real important reminder, the 30th, which I think is Sunday. Holmes County turkey hunting is closing. So it's not open the same as the rest of the Panhandle. The rest of the Panhandle will go through April 20th, but Holmes County will close March 30th. So they have a shorter season, a 1 bird bag limit, and a lot of people hunt Holmes County if they have the opportunity early to get that bird, and then they move other places, you know, for the rest of the season. So we'll have almost 3 weeks left after Holmes County closes in other parts of the Panhandle. But reminder, no turkey hunting in Holmes County after March 30th.
Okay. All right, let's take this break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here with Captain Ken Paramore, and he said people started to recognize you off from the show in your plain clothes. So you
2 times here in the last couple of months, I've gone into stores and people have said, I know you from somewhere. I recognize you from somewhere, and get to talking to them for a minute. And of course, I haven't been in uniform both times, so trying to figure out where. And one day, my wife was standing next to me, and she said, "How about Panhandle Outdoors?" And I said, "Yeah, that was it."
Well, that's great. We appreciate all the viewership. And when you see some me or the guests and all, just give them a shout out. Come talk to them and tell them what you like and don't like about Panhandle Outdoors. But it's fun talking to them.
I talked to one fella in front of a hardware store after he recognized me, and we talked outside for 20 minutes. It seemed like so. And
that's the kind of people we have here. Just good folks and good outdoors. They are. Oh, well, let's get now. We're talking about turkey hunting and all. We saltwater fishing about to heat up, and we're talking about that.
Time to change gears. As you know, it's in our job. It's ever it's never ending. It's ever flowing, and we're going to go from turkey hunting, which we got a few weeks left, to springtime fishing, which is going to bust out here as soon as we can get some warmer water, obviously. But some things that came to mind yesterday when I was looking to see what was open and what's closed. As we all know, red snapper is closed. Red grouper is open. Amberjack is open. And gag grouper is closed right now, but gag opens in the 4 counties to our east on April 1st.
Okay. And those folks down there excited. We got to visit with them. I'm going to have a video tomorrow with Mildred and all. They're getting excited about the grouper season taking off.
And that will be Franklin, Jefferson, Taylor, and I think Dixie. Yeah.
Dixie, yeah. Those folks.
And they get that early window. Actually, it'll run till June 30th.
It's like the guys on turkey hunting. You go up to Holmes County and get one, then come back here. You do the same thing with grouper season. Go down there and catch some grouper, and then when the season opens up here, you catch a grouper up here.
Because then we're going to open, or the other counties will open after that. So April 1st, I guess, would be Monday.
Let's see. It is. Yeah, it is going to be on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday.
It'll be on Tuesday. Yeah.
So that's coming up. It'll be open down to the east of us.
That'll be folks down there going Tuesday.
Speaking of red snapper, our commission is going to meet April 15th, which is in a couple weeks, and they're going to decide then whether or not to open red snapper in state waters Memorial Weekend, which would be the Saturday of the 3-day Memorial Day weekend. If that happens, we'll get ahead by, I think it was 12 days from our normal June 1 opening. So state waters only, it's still pending. You never know what our commission will do, but they are going to meet and discuss opening red snapper earlier than what had been normally planned for the Memorial Day weekend.
Well, that'd be a good bonus. A lot of folks are off that weekend and want to take off.
It'll be a busy weekend if they open red snapper. We'll still probably have some mackerel and pompano probably still being caught.
Oh yeah.
And
isn't that the busiest weekend of the year?
The busiest boating season. Normally for us, it's National Safe Boating Week. So there'll be a lot of boats on the water, which brings up boating safety.
Yeah.
We do need to stress the importance of boat safety from this point on.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it more in a few, next month probably. But we've lost one person here in the last couple of weeks on the Apalachicola River.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that things happen.
I've got some kin folks. I was talking to some of them last night about good friends of that family and good friends of him and all, and they were. Of course, it upsets the whole community when that happens, especially a small community like Bristol and Bluntstown, and they all know each other and a lot of interaction with the families and all, and this was a lot of times, down here it seemed like a church to get in an accident, but this is a local guy and all,
and we have infrequently, but we do have that happen on our rivers. That river particularly over the years. And it's just those fluke things that happen in small boats. Yeah. And then they're in swift water. They're in murky, dark water. Yeah. And recovery is difficult. And it takes days.
And another thing too, when the river is high, and of course it will just be all speculation of what happened. We really don't know yet. But when the river is high, we do know that a lot of floating logs and all kind of stuff is on the river and all. I have a nephew of mine who he won't get on the river if it's above 12 feet because of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So you have to be careful.
And which brings to the point of life jackets.
Yep.
We're all bad about not wearing them, and myself included. But those things will make a difference when that time comes. And you just can't stress enough the importance of having those and really having them on. Having them with you is one thing, but if you go out and they're in the boat, they're not going to do you much good then. So. We're supposed to practice what we preach, and we should all wear them.
I'm bad about that every year. I say I'm going to start wearing it, and I wear it a time or two. Then I lay it over. I say, well, it's right over there if I need it. And
the thing to do now, I think, is get those inflatable fanny pack style that go around your waist. Yeah. And you don't even know they're there.
Now your guys have the.
We have to wear them, the collar, and they're automatic. They'll go off when you go in the water, and we have to wear them all the time while we're on the water. Yeah. So that's a good habit. It'll keep you afloat.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take our final break, and we'll be right back. Now, welcome back. Sitting here with Captain Ken Paramore from the FWC. First, let's get our fishing game forecast today, brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty, number 832-6000. Looking at 10:04 to 12:04, right in the middle of the day. Maybe the wind won't be blowing that bad, but it may. Tonight, 10:31 to 12:31. And like I say, it's going to be up to 70 degrees today. Still cool and still windy. So if you get out on the water, please be careful, especially if you're in a smaller craft and all. Okay, we're talking about fishing and all. And I had Jeff Paxton on the show last year, and FWC introduced this trophy bass.
Angler recognition program.
Really
so
nice.
Time to change from saltwater fish to freshwater fish.
Okay, so we'll cover turkey, we'll cover saltwater, and this segment, let's talk about some freshwater.
This is going to be the second season of the Trophy Catch Angler Recognition Program. in the state of Florida. It's a statewide program with the FWC and a bunch of its sponsors, and it's recognizing anglers who catch bass 8 pounds or larger. And there's a Lunker Club, a Hall of Fame, and then there's one
trophy.
There's one more. The Lunker Club, the Trophy Club, and then the Hall of Fame. And it runs from 8 pounds to like 9.9, and then 9.9 to the next, and then the Hall of Fame is 13 pounds or larger.
Wow.
And you have to go online, or you should go online and register. And there's a 800 number that you can call. I think the fish needs to be released alive. A photograph, I think, and a measurement. If it's over a certain size, and maybe for all 3 categories, we will send someone out to do that. It's imperative that we try to keep the fish alive. And there's a set of structured prizes that go with those class sizes. And it's up to $1,000 in prizes and some other things. There's drawing for boats. There's gift cards from Bass Pro Shop and some other places. And it's all structured according to the weights in those categories. So it's kind of a neat program. If you go on myfwc.com, which is our agency's website, there's a whole section there devoted to the angler recognition and the trophy catch program. Spells out the prizes, the weights, the 800 numbers there. It even lists the anglers who won things last year. And there's also a news release on there about a fellow down in Clay County who recently caught 3 bass, and they were Hall of Fame bass.
Wow.
One of them was 13 pounds, 12 ounces. One was 14 pounds, 9 ounces.
Goodness.
And then there was one 11 pounds and 13 ounces, which didn't make the Hall of Fame, but it met the trophy category.
This is certified by your guys.
Yeah, and they're all certified. Our officers actually went there and assisted with documenting and taking pictures of those 3 fish. And you know, it's rare to get a 13-pound fish, but it is possible. But it isn't uncommon in a lot of places in the state of Florida, even up here, to get one 8 pounds or better.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a neat program. It's worth participating in, especially for our bass fishermen in the area. And I know we have a lot of them.
Well, you know, the great thing about bass fishing, these guys and girls were the first one to start releasing fish years ago, and you see how it's paid off over the years, and all the people get those big ones, they just release them. Back in the old days, they put them in a big old wash tub and bring them into town and show everybody.
And they were fried up.
Yeah, they were fried up and eaten by 2 or 3 families.
But a lot of these female fish, you know, this time of year are spawning fish, and that attributes to a lot of their weight, and it is a good idea to release them, because a lot of them they'll release and they'll go right back to the bed, you know. And so Trophy Catch program is an interesting program, and it's in its 2nd year. So, and
we'll talk more about that too as time goes on, especially spring as it starts heating up with bass fishing too. Now let's go to you're always good about bringing a case of the month, and it fascinates me. I just get tickled at these things and all, because
like I said before, you know, it never ceases to amaze.
Now, you've been doing this a long time, but it never ceases to amaze you, right? So
next month will be my 34th year.
Oh my goodness! And there's still dumb people out there, aren't they? They're born every day.
You know, and this has to do with turkey hunting, and the purpose of spring turkey season and gobbler hunting is to call a bird to you. The interactive, the challenge to locate and get set up, and then call and get him to come within 35, 40 yards of shotgun range.
Right.
I can't understand somebody who wants to go out and dump out a bag full of scratch feed and sit on top of it and wait for him to come in to eat. Anyway, this particular fell up in Jackson County. Our officer, Hank Forehand, had located bait earlier in the week and decided to work it. So unfortunately for the hunter, Hank got in there well before the hunter did. He watched him walk in. He watched him owl hoot and try to locate. Mm-hmm. He watched him go get in his blind. He watched him walk out to the corn pile and put his decoy out, go get back in the blind. And he sat behind him and waited, and he called for almost 45 minutes with his yelper, waiting on a turkey to come in.
45 minutes.
Yep. And Hank finally decided that it's time to let him know that he's doing wrong. So he walked in on him and knocked on the back of the blind and said good morning, and here's your problem, and here's your piece of paper to go with it. So he was charged with hunting turkeys over bait, and we'll have to go to court.
Well, you know, when y'all bust somebody like this, what do they say? I mean, do they say, okay?
Well, this one, I don't know if he told me what the guy said, but this one was pretty obvious. And most of the time, if it's pretty obvious and it's, you know, they know they're caught, they just kind of hang their head and you got me, you know. But here he did. He located with an owl call. He set up a decoy. He started yelping like anybody would, but there's corn in front of him.
Yeah, why add corn? You're doing everything else like a textbook, you know.
Don't get it.
Why you add corn?
I don't get it.
It's crazy.
I don't get it.
But I guess, you know, that's why y'all have a job, I guess.
Always something to do.
If we didn't have anybody like that, y'all wouldn't have a job.
Always something to do somewhere.
We look on the bright side.
Right.
Now, you're still going to continue your turkey hunting.
Yeah, this cold weather's fouled me up, and this wind, you know. I don't like to hunt when it's really windy because they will move around and walk around, but I can't hear them gobble, and you don't know how far they can hear you yelping. Yeah. And it just seems to be. I like it when it's still and clear, and you can hear a long ways, and you know they can hear you. So.
Well, you want to feel like it's springtime when you're in the woods, not wintertime when you turkey hunt.
What was it? Yesterday morning it was
37 at my house.
So
37.
No, I'll wait for it to warm up. Now I hear it's supposed to rain maybe Friday and Saturday, so that's going to mess up that. But we got 3 weeks left.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start wrapping things up. As always, we appreciate you coming on, and we enjoy these Case for the Month, and I enjoy you getting out into your stores and all, getting out, you know, getting those gobblers. You've had a great year getting some nice bucks, and you got a nice gobbler.
It's been a good one for me so far.
So you represent the commission well.
Thank you.
and Panhandle Outdoors.
I love it. I love it. You know.
Right. And thank you so much, Ken.
Enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you, folks, for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate it. You do something good for somebody today. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.